Maryland, where
a lot of people got up for the free food this morning.
I guess a couple of people have 8 o'clock classes this morning, and they're on their way to the breakfast hall, and they heard we had some free food, so that's why they're here. We're pretty sure.
And we're here because we're going to be talking to the leaders of our next generation here. These are the people who are going to be deciding things in our lives and in their own lives.
And a little bit of college enthusiasm there. The band is going to make a joyful noise for us in the next half hour. Kevin?
All right, Spencer, thanks a lot. We're going to be talking to the other fine people from the University of Maryland.
The campus of the University of Maryland this morning in College Park. Good morning, America. I'm Lisa McCree.
And I'm Kevin Newman. And one of the great things about being in a college, of course, is college tradition. So I was walking by that building up there. I think that's the library. And there was this bronze turtle. Who can explain what the bronze turtle's about to me? You guys know? Who's that? Sorry, again?
If you rub his head, he gives you good luck for the rest of the year and gets you good grades.
Oh, I see. So it's like, do you have to give him offerings at exam time?
You rub the nose. Well, you rub his nose.
Oh, you rub his nose and you get good grades. Does it work?
I have a question.
I've already studied. Yeah, you have to study too.
I have a question. Now, that's your mascot, the turtle, right?
Right, it's the
The terrapin, right. So, is that kind of demoralizing for the track team, though, when you got a turtle out there?
No.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Slow and steady wins the race. There you go.
All right. We have a lot coming up. We're checking in with America's college students and the families of people with kids in college to find out how they're paying for college and what they're here for and how they have changed, what these young people are all about.
But first we're going to check in with the news, but we have a special guest here, I think.
What is your name?
Hi, I'm Lourdes Chavarria. I'm representing the Latino student organizations on campus, and I just want to say hi to Antonio Mora. We miss you.
Oh, God, say hi to Lourdes for me. That's so nice.
All right, Antonio, thanks very much. We're going to toss it over to Spencer, who's still over the football field. I think he's got a marching band now.
Oh, I've got everything down here. I'm down here at Bird Stadium. I got the marching band, the Maryland marching band, the Mighty Sound of Maryland. But I've also got a little something special for you. Watch this. How about that? Maryland's state flag anywhere in the world. It measures 1,450 square feet, and it takes 25 people to open and hold it. Meanwhile, I'm going to hold it while the band plays. Time now for a look at today's weather. It's going to be a nice sunny day for much of the nation. Maybe a little spot of shower activity up in the northern plains, and maybe a shower or two down in the extreme, northern Rockies, and down in the extreme southern Rockies as well. But generally sunny and pleasant, cool in the east. But looking ahead to the weekend, it'll warm up again along the Atlantic coast, and it's starting to become a little stormy out west. Some snow in the higher elevations and rain in the valleys. That's a look at the national weather picture. Here's a look at what's happening where you are.
And a pleasant Friday.
And this weather report has been brought to you by Downey. Kevin?
Sort of like...
Okay, Spencer, we have a little musical tune here. Listen to this, if you can hear it. This is the #1 song on campuses across the country right now. It's called The Boy with the Arab Strap. How many of you heard of it? Yeah, me too. Anyway, it's by a group called Bell and Sebastian. If you think, you feel a generational change here, you should be coming back to campus at my age, because these guys were born the year that I graduated from university, and is that ever depressing? It's been a while, obviously, and to give a sense of the generational thing, I have a couple of questions for some people over here. Let's see. One of the favorite games I used to play on campus was Pong. What's Pong?
Pong, it's a video game.
You knew it?
Yeah.
You knew the first video game. How about that? Okay, who hosted the Tonight Show before Jay Leno?
Johnny Carson.
Oh, you knew that one too. That's you guys go to university or something.
From Maryland.
Right, exactly. What do the initials CCCP stand for?
Oh.
It was the old Soviet Union, but you were 11 when the Iron Curtain fell, so you're allowed not to know that. Anyway, a lot of different generational changes have obviously been going on, and we wanted ABC's Beth Nissen to compare college life today to the college life that the rest of the people out there might have remembered, and ask kids what they know, what they're thinking about, what they care about. Here's Beth Nissen. Hard to believe, but these kids learn about the Vietnam War in the history books, and they've probably never bought a vinyl record. Lisa?
All right, thanks a lot, Kevin. When we come back, we all have a lot to learn about how to pay for college. We'll have the experts tell us the easy way when Good Morning America continues from the university. Some things haven't changed since the rest of us were in college. Still, when a kid calls home from the dorm to talk to mom and dad, the first words out of their mouths, not "I love you," the first words, "Send money." Money is of paramount concern to the kids here and to their parents. Did you know that the cost of college for a 4-year state school, $43,000. Now, it's projected to be in 18 years. So those of you who have little babies at home now, in 18 years, you're talking about $85,000. That's for a 4-year state school. For an Ivy League school, today it's $130,000. In 18 years, it's going to be $200,000. Now, the good news is you have plenty of time to save for college, but you need to know how to do it most effectively. And joining us this morning is Jerry Willis. She is the senior editor of Smart Money Magazine's website, and it is smartmoney.com, and she joins us this morning. I read that parents have been saving and saving more for their kids' college education, and yet it's less and less adequate to cover the cost. Why is that?
It's because the costs keep rising. They're rising at a slower rate, but they're still going up. The numbers you gave just a second ago show that. So you've got to have the number 85,000 in the back of your head to get to a place like this.
So how is it that it's most effective to save? How is the most
Start
effective?
early. That's my best piece of advice. Start very early. I got a call from my sister-in-law 3 months after her baby was born, and that's about the right time to start saving.
Wow. And so how much do you need to start saving, and how do you do it? Does it need to go in CDs, or does it need to go in these IRAs?
If you start extremely early, you can use the stock market to help juice up your returns over the long term, and that will help you meet your goals. Also, if you start extremely early, you can save less per month. The problem for a lot of people is they wait till their child is 12 or 14 or even 15, and that means you have to put away $500 or $1,000 a month, and that's just not doable for a lot of people.
But that's to pay for a state school? And what about a top-flight private school?
Right. Well, again, you need to start early, and the closer you get to college, the more conservative your investments are going to become. The nice thing is the government is doing some great things to help people save. They've started an education IRA, which is a great program where you can put money away tax-free, $500 a year for each child, and at the end of 18 years, you'd have about $18,000. Now, that's obviously not enough to do the trick, but at least it starts getting you there.
So if you're doing the tax-free education IRA with stock market investments, so it's all about diversity again.
Absolutely.
What do you think about these new things that a lot of colleges have offered that are prepaid tuition plans? As soon as you have a 4-year-old, if you went to Yale and you know you want your kid to go there, you can start putting in for their education.
Well, they're great. Some of them are great, but all of them are very different. There are about 30 states that have put these programs together. And the good thing about them is the money accrues tax-free. And if little Johnny decides he's not going to go to school, you can give the money to his little sister.
So there are particular things
pass them around.
to look for particular clauses that say it's transferable from one student to another.
Exactly, from one member of your family to another.
All right.
There are basically two kinds. There's a contract and a tuition donation program, and each of them has advantages. Some of them you have to go to the exact school that you contract with, which can be not a great thing, and the other one is you can go to any school in the state, which is much easier for most people to do.
All right, Jerry Willis, costs are going to keep going up. It pays to think ahead. Right. Thanks a lot. Good Morning America continues in a few moments.
Remember, pull off now.
Back live at the University of Maryland this morning. One of the things we wanted to do was to come here and ask the kids what's on their minds, not just talk to them about what we want to talk to them about. So let's go over here. What's the issue that matters most to you?
Affirmative action.
Why is that important to you?
Well, because there's national legislation being brought up to the House floor, and there's numerous attacks on affirmative action
from all angles.
And you think that's important to encourage diversity in any university across the country?
Especially at predominantly white universities, yes.
Okay, great. What's on your mind this morning? Let's come on over here.
Abortion.
Why is that important?
Because women should have the right to choose. There are lots of extenuating circumstances that makes a woman not able to have a baby, and we think it's important for her to have that right.
Is that an issue as controversial on this campus as it is in the country?
Yeah, definitely.
Nationally, do you have free access here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's on your mind this morning? Having a good time, right? There you go. All right, well, listen, we want to thank you for inviting us here today. We're going to be back at the University of Maryland when Good Morning America continues. Playing Work That Skirt, one of the great new swing bands out there.
You know, Kevin, I don't know about you, but I don't remember seeing students just breaking into swing dancing at UC.
Especially not at about, 8 o'clock in the morning.
8 o'clock in the morning. I don't know, there's something in the coffee here at University of Maryland. Good morning, America. I'm Lisa McCree.
And I'm Kevin Newman. It is indeed sun up at the University of Maryland campus. This is a gorgeous campus. Lots of great Georgian architecture around. And we are here today to listen to tomorrow's leaders, to hear what's on their minds and to talk to them about what issues they care about. This is a particularly diverse campus. This is a state college, and this campus is 33% of the people enrolled here are people of color. That isn't the case in all campuses across the country. But we are here this morning with the president of the University of Maryland. He is Dr. Dan Moat, and we want to welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much, Kevin.
You do take... Well, how about that?
Thank you very much.
Now, there was a time on a campus where the president would not get a cheer when he was introduced, let me tell you.
This campus are great.
I was just mentioning how proud you are of your work at diversity, but that is hard work. Is affirmative action important to keeping diversity in your campus?
The affirmative action programs and diversity on this campus, and in fact on all campuses, is extraordinarily important, as a matter of fact. Our society is multicultural, and the celebration of the individual and the diverse individuals is important for now and in the future.
Because some colleges, especially in California and Texas, don't have affirmative action anymore, and the number of minorities are dropping. What do you think of that?
Well, I think that's a major problem for our society as a whole, and because our society is multicultural and getting more so, and therefore all campuses have to work within the law to create this multicultural family, I would say. And it's not just racially diverse society. It's from sexual orientation, geographically, in every possible way. We are essentially a diversity of individuals.
There's a comparison that's been made between college students entering college today and those who entered 25 years ago, and it shows that grades are higher upon entering, but they may have fewer basic skills. There's something called grade inflation, SAT scores and high school scores. Why is that?
Well, I think grade inflation is a reality. When I was a student, grades were lower, but I think grades have to be looked at in a relative measure. That is, how are students of certain grades compared to students with other grades in that same class? Grades, though they're higher, still are the best measure of the student's success in the university.
But an SAT score that used to be 1,200 meant more 10 years ago than it does today, because they've been renormalized, meaning they get more points.
Well, that's correct. The SAT 2 years ago or 3 years ago renormalized the norm, the mean. So I believe if you had 1,200 this year is about 1,120 3 years ago.
I'm not sure renormalize is a word, but thank you very much, Dr. Moe, for being with us this morning.
Thank you very much.
What else do we have coming up this half hour, Lisa? We're going to be looking at tolerance on campus.
We're looking at tolerance on campus and binge drinking as well. All that coming up.
But first, let's go to Antonio Moro. There is significant news this morning, Antonio, in the Middle East.
Now, here's something really special. Everyone on campus is talking about the new MCPA, the Maryland Center for the Performing Arts, which opens in the year 2000. Joining me now is dance major Rebecca Dolid, who can tell me all about this. This is a really special complex, right?
Yeah, it's
It's going to be really great. It's going to encompass dance, music, and theater, over 17 acres, and what really sets it apart is the fact that we have a performing arts library.
Wow.
Which no one else in the nation has. There are other performing arts centers, but we have a library to put it all together with.
And this will be the largest performing arts center under construction on any college campus anywhere in the country.
Yes.
Rebecca, thank you and good luck. And we'll have more weather a little bit later. Lisa?
All right, thanks a lot, Spencer. The tragic beating death of Matthew Shepard, the University of Wyoming student who was beaten to death because he was gay, it appears, has stirred up quite a bit of debate about tolerance on college campuses. University of Maryland is no exception. And recently, in the school newspaper here called the Diamondback, an anti-gay column was published. It has stirred up such a storm of controversy on this campus. We wanted to address it this morning with Josh Krause. He is the student, I'm sorry? Cross, I'm sorry. The student who decided to run the piece in the paper, and with Mary Lee Lindeman, she's the Associate Professor of English here, as well as the co-chair of the Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual Students and Faculty Administration. Thanks for being with us. I'm going to start with you, Ms. Lindeman. Describe this article, this column for us.
Well, the only way to describe it is as hate speech. It wasn't a reasoned, careful, sensitive, thoughtful analysis of anything. It was vicious, incoherent, sort of ranting and raving. And it was intended really just to harm, in my judgment, not to offer a thoughtful articulation of...
Josh, why did you decide to run it? This was not something that was even signed. It was a nom de plume.
At the time, I didn't know it was a mistake that was made in checking to make sure his name was right. But the reason I decided to run it, although people said it was because of free speech merely allowed us to print it. I felt that all the press groups, unfortunately, need to be reminded in some way that there are still, like, no matter how far oppressed groups come, you know, I'm Jewish, I'm a member of another oppressed community, traditionally, but that no matter how far we come, we still need to know that these people are still out there that hate us, so we know that we need to keep working hard.
But doesn't that just incite more hate?
It also incites a backlash against the content of the column, and it's been really, the backlash against it has been great. It's brought
meaning that
the response to saying that this columnist is wrong has been excellent, and it's brought groups together. Not only do we have the gay community related groups protesting it, the NAACP was in the Diamondback office protesting the column the day it was run, and it's really good that the groups come to work together to fight back against people that hate.
It sounds like he's saying the end justifies the means, that it's important to acknowledge that there's hate out there in order to correct it or to address it.
That's true, but we all know those terrible things and ideas are out there. It seems to me, and it's nice that it's leading to some sort of positive outcome, but I would far prefer to have begun from another place. And I just feel like so much hurt was unnecessarily generated on a campus which is really extremely tolerant and welcoming.
I'm going to ask you to do something you probably will hate to do, which is generalize, but we've watched trends with regard to tolerance, with regard to politics over the years, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s more conservative. What are the 90s? In general, how would you say college students today rank in terms of tolerance and openness?
I would say that they are generally very tolerant and very open. I think particularly actually on issues related to sexuality. They're very sophisticated and open in most respects. I would say that I sense greater resistance at this point on issues of race, a certain frustration, a sort of we've been there, done that, I've overcome my racism. And there's in fact a great deal of misunderstanding and estrangement perhaps on matters of race. But on matters related to sexuality, I see a certain openness.
Interesting. Thanks very much, both of you, for being with us this morning. Here's Kevin.
Okay, Lisa, coming up right after we take a break, we're going to be talking about the issue of drinking on campus and whether or not there's too much binge drinking that happens here. That's when Good Morning America continues.
You know, on college campuses, there are lots of problems we've talked about. We've talked about tolerance. We've talked about paying for college. But there's something that we've heard a lot about the last couple of years called binge drinking. And you've probably heard lots of news reports about it. Doesn't seem what's new about that, right? College kids drink. But It is to the degree to which they drink. The drinking too gets on. How many of you guys, with a show of hands, have or know someone who has had more than 4 or 5 drinks at a sitting in the last couple of weeks? How about over the last week? Last night?
No contact.
A lot of drinking, Kevin. Is it new? We'll find out. Kevin?
That's what we're going to talk about, Lisa. Some statistics from the Harvard School of Public Health. Listen to this. 43% of college students engage in binge drinking. 61% of men, 39% of women say they drank alcohol on 10 or more occasions in the previous month. And remember, the legal age for drinking alcohol is 21 in most states now. So joining us this morning to talk about all of this, we have the co-authors of a book called Letting Go, Karen Levin Coburn and Madge Trieger. We want to welcome you this morning. So just by way of perspective, and let's begin with Karen, do the kids on campus today drink any more than you or I might have when we were on campus?
No, we really don't know. The Harvard study was the first major study, comprehensive study of college campuses. What we do know is that binge drinking, as defined by the Harvard study, is a problem on campus. And we know that students, faculty, and administrators are concerned about it.
Madge, why are students drinking too much?
Well, I wish I knew that. Probably the same reasons that they always drank, and it may be that they're exacerbated, but again, we don't know. They're under a lot of stress. They want to find a niche. But I think that we need to remember that when you say 43% are binge drinking, that means the great majority of students are not. And I think we need to remember that this isn't an automatic rite of passage that everybody has to take. There are responsible drinkers on campus.
Now, are there certain parts of the country where this is less prevalent, or is there certain groups that it's less prevalent?
Well, according to the Harvard study, yes. It seems to be a problem more in the Northeast for some reason. I guess this is considered the Northeast, right where we are.
Sure is.
And we know that in women's colleges it's less of a problem. But once again, I think that we need to focus on what colleges and universities can do, what parents can do to support students.
Okay, let's talk about that, because of course none of these students' parents really know what's going on. Is there anything you can do as a parent to tell your kids before they go off to college how to prepare them to handle the responsibility of drinking?
Oh, I think there's a lot that you can do. When we wrote our book, we interviewed parents and students, and their wisdom really became ours. You can, for example, don't lecture, of course, but sit down with your son or daughter. This hopefully has been discussed long before they leave for college, and throw out some scenarios. Say, I'm concerned about this. What are you going to do if you're with a group of people and they start having drinking games and they want you to participate? How are you going to handle that? And kind of get a dialogue going for them to try and think of alternatives so that when they get into that situation, they have them.
One of the best pieces of advice in your book is just tell your kids, don't do anything that you haven't done yet in your first month of college or university, so that you're familiar with it at least. But I guess the question is, won't the students outgrow it eventually? I mean, as they mature a little bit more and they get more responsibilities, do we really need to be concerned, or are they just going to outgrow it?
No, I think we have to intervene. I really do. And I think that education is very important. It's necessary, but it's not sufficient. I think what we're seeing now on college campuses is a very holistic approach. I mean, for instance, at Washington U, we've hired someone as a director of health promotion and wellness. She's working with our judicial administrator and with faculty and with the students themselves to make the place a healthier, safer place for all students.
Okay, Karen Levin Coburn, Madge Trieger, we want to thank you for joining us this morning to talk about this. Good Morning America will continue in a moment. These guys are getting cold, so we've got to warm them up. From the University of Maryland. Thank you.
Hi, we're the University of Maryland women's lacrosse team, winner of 4 consecutive NCAA championships.
And we'd like to say, good morning, America! Go Terps!
Welcome back to the University of Maryland. It's so nice to have you with us this very chilly morning.
Little blue plate special starting us off, and the women's lacrosse team, one of the winningest lacrosse teams ever, 4 national championships. We're very proud of them here. And I'm Kevin Newman. It is 30 minutes after the hour. We are exploring college life this morning here at the University of Maryland. I didn't know this, Lisa. There's more minorities on campus than there used to be, and there's also more older students. Something like 25% of the students enrolled nationwide are older than the age of 25.
Who's he calling older? Are you talking about you?
Calling the kettle.
John
Pavlovsky.
Pavlovsky. Has gone back to school. Why'd you go back to school?
I finished up my education
in
agriculture resource economics.
Wow. So what did you done in your 20s and 30s that kept you?
Well, I was a student
away?
here the first time from 76 to 1980. And I left in 1980 and came back in the spring of 1995.
So you just were not satisfied career-wise?
I wasn't satisfied career-wise, and I didn't finish my education the first time.
So you really...
So I came back to University of Maryland.
A lot of it was just finishing the education.
That's correct.
Just the idea of having that degree.
That's right.
And Cynthia, you already had a degree, but you came here to upgrade a little bit.
Yeah, to do my prereq work for grad school. I found that I was lacking in some of the harder science courses.
Was that a hard thing to decide to do? I mean, I still have nightmares about taking exams at university and writing test pages. I mean, was it hard to come back into this?
No, because I've always loved school, and I always did well in it when I applied myself, of course, but so it was not a hard decision.
But financially, it's a commitment.
Financially, it's a tough commitment. It really is. So, yeah, I'm not a traditional student, so I don't get traditional financial support. So I have to really work hard for it.
Boy, that is tough. Well, congratulations to you both. I'm sure you're very proud of yourselves.
Yeah.
Coming up, we have a lot to talk about, including how life is in the dorms and dorm food as well. Sarah Moulton is here, but first we're going to go to Spencer Christian. He's got to look at the weather.
I always like to start my morning with a little check-in. This one brought to you by the ladies of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Inc., the Kappa Phi chapter. Joining me now is the designated spokesperson, Alicia Dennis. And I know your sorority has a very rich and long history, but what about the history of stepping? How did that originate?
Stepping is a tradition in which we are giving back to our African heritage. It was originated in Africa, and we step to give back to our roots.
Right, well, you're stepping pretty nicely this morning.
Thank
you. Now, stay right here. Don't go away. We're going to take a look at today's weather. It's going to be And this weather report brought to you by Walmart. Kevin and Lisa, I'm going to get out of the way and let the Deltas entertain you some more.
CFC in 1913.
All right, well, we're going to get out of the way soon because we got some very large men behind us, and they are very, very hungry. So when we come back, dorm food when Good Morning America continues. Hungry men here this morning. We got members of the football team from the University of Maryland. How you guys doing? Boomer Esiason was a quarterback here, wasn't he, from Monday Night Football? Yep. We also got members of the basketball team, which is ranked 5th in the preseason, the NCAA. They are a great winning team. Lots of hope there for them. And we have Sarah Moulton, who's the real star of the moment. She's here to make some dorm food. I got through university on tuna fish. You're going to do better than that, right?
We also got some of the other sort of things you might have gotten through on. I had to interview a few people. It's been a while since I was at the other U of M. Michigan. Anyway, we got ramen noodles.
I don't want to talk about Wake Forest either. I heard about that.
Don't worry.
Bad news, guys.
Ramen noodles, pizza. But you guys eat macaroni and cheese.
These used to be 10 for $1, 10 cents a piece.
Really?
In the grocery stores when I was in college.
You've been in college recently.
Anyway.
Okay, well, we're going to make macaroni and cheese. You all eat macaroni and cheese. You make it from that box? Okay, well, we're going to make homemade. I hope you like that.
This will be the start.
Okay, we're going to start in spicy, right? Okay, so we got 4 tablespoons of butter here. Okay. Oh my goodness, it's so cold out here. This is not for you, but I think you'll love it. Okay, 1.5 cups of onions, You know, I've never cooked in my coat before. It's sort of an adventure. Okay, 2 cloves of garlic.
Okay.
And this is pickled jalapenos for you guys. You like it spicy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They didn't know you could actually make it when you didn't just take it out of a box and add water.
Well, I know. We'll see if they like it, because that's what I'm worried about. I make this for my kids, and they're like, ew, what's this? It's not orange.
Right.
Okay, that was a teaspoon each of coriander and cumin. You cook it, and of course, we don't have time. The butter's not even going to melt here. It's so cold out here.
Okay, I'll stir it while you do the other
Well,
stuff.
no, it's all right. You cook it till it's softened. We'll use our imagination with that big clump of butter in there. So it's softened, right, guys?
Pretend.
Okay. All right. We've already become fast friends.
Don't go there.
Okay. All right. Now.
How about this? How much is it? They need their
Now,
calcium.
after I add the flour, that was a quart. The calcium is the only thing that really makes sense in here. Yeah, onions are good for you. 4 cups of milk, and of course you cook this for 3 minutes.
Okay.
You would never do what I'm doing right now. This is terrible. Don't do this. I'm not giving you a really good cooking lesson here. Okay, then you hope that the whole thing comes up to a boil. It thickens nicely.
Okay.
And then to this mixture, you add a 28-ounce can of tomatoes. You guys can do this so far, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I know you can. And then you have masterpiece. Okay, I'm going to enlist my man here
right.
to dump this in here. Is that all right with you, Kevin?
Oh, please.
What's your name again?
I'm going to argue?
Oh, no, you got to do it the other way. You're
Right.
Eric?
Oh,
What's your name?
Eric.
Eric, okay. He's not the tallest guy on the team.
Okay, this is the hard part, Eric.
But
let's check out Eric's cooking technique.
Okay, stir it up.
You got
And then we
it.
get a cup each, a cup and a half each of sharp cheddar and
That's
sharp...
real good, Eric.
And, Mon, you're doing great.
You're doing a real great job there, man.
Thanks, Kev.
That's terrific. All righty. Terrific. Now, where's my man? Let's see.
You're hired.
This goes into here.
This goes into here.
Okay. And can I enlist the members of the basketball team to stir these 2 things
Okay,
up?
I'm going to get that out of
Oh,
the way.
Kevin, I'm sorry. Kevin, come on down.
Here, I'll just stand back here.
Okay.
Oh, Kevin, come on.
No, this is better.
Okay. Now, you got to stir those 2 things together. You got a spoon right there. I know you can do it.
Put these two
Okay,
together?
dump in here. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go on. Dump in. All
Eric,
right.
your mother would be so proud of you
I
right
know
now.
she would. Hi, Mommy, Daddy.
Look, they taught him to cook here.
Oh, my goodness. Who's the tallest guy in the team? Where are you? Okay,
there?
what do you come in at? You're 6... you're kidding.
Here, why don't you stand in front of me, too?
That's pretty frightening. Kevin, I'm sorry.
No, this is
Listen,
great.
I'm the one who's at a
I don't feel short around many people. This is wonderful.
Okay, Lisa, what do you think? Did this even come up to a boil? I'm giving you a bad message. All over the top. There you
They
go.
dump all that grated cheese
all that
in
into it.
on the top,
and then it
you
goes
bake
into a hot oven. You're 375, about 40 minutes. Guys, 75. There it is. Okay, wait a second. What do we think about our finished product over here? You want some?
I think that's an appetizer for Eric.
5434 GMA or the website.
Okay, we're going to get going here.
abcnews.com. You guys have a bite. We'll be back from the University of Maryland after this.
That was great. That was great.
Kevin.
Residences, and there was one co-ed dorm, but it is now the norm on most college campuses across this country that dormitories are co-educational, except in one state. There's one state that bans... Okay. There is one... I have no idea what he said. Anyway, there's one campus where there are co-educational facilities, or where they are banned, I'm sorry, and we'll tell you which one that is in a minute. But to give you a sense of what life is like on campus, we sent John Palacio undercover, and this is what he found. Okay, so the answer to our quiz question, the only state that bans co-ed campuses, what do you think it is? Which state?
What state?
Yeah. That bans co-ed campuses.
I don't know.
The answer is Mississippi. There you go. Let's go over to Lisa. Lisa?
All right, thanks a lot, Kevin. I'm over here chatting with one of the college freshmen. When we come back, everything old is cool again. Blue Plate Special right after this break. If you haven't seen a Gap commercial lately, swing is back, and it's big on college campuses. And joining us this morning, a band that has a new debut CD hitting stores this week, A Night Out with the Blue Plate Special. Here's Blue Plate Special with Night Out.
on hand, he was out for a taste with nothing planned. Out of the rain and into his sin for a cigarette and a shot of gin. Band was playing Blue Skies, barkeeper rose. Some down and out slapped his back, saying that cat really blows. But all right from the cat bar, where a dance was moving high. She licked her lips and shook her hips, she went moving by. Hey! Boilermaker, it was Jack and Coke. He's headed for, he should be heading for the top. Before, but the name he could not guess. Just crossed the top on a hungry cop, showed a tattoo on her chest. She dyed her hair and changed her smile, but the guy was still the same. Though he'd been 1,000 miles, his heart still felt the pain. That was how the woman that had taught him how to hurt. Tattoos showed the names of the men left in the dirt. Oh. Boilermaker, it was Shag and Coke. He's headed for, he should be heading for the door. Her zipper zip while he just sipped and the temperature was on the rise. He got up fast and downed his glass, there was fire in his eyes. Clipped his fist and shoved his stool, he couldn't keep his rage. He downed his glass and got up fast and headed for the stage. Barkeep grabbed the telephone, the doorman pulled a gun, pushed him down and fired around me. The crowd was stunned.
Doing the bump, you're dating yourself by doing the bump.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, University of Maryland.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, everybody, for coming out on this great Friday morning, and we hope everybody has a super